a lot of them, but what a great country to go visit and see, and hope we get a lot out of this, the game obviously being the priority. Want to touch on the O-line things I said earlier this week. I was trying to portray how hard the O-line had been working and how proud of them I am. Might have exaggerated puking a little bit, but the important thing is I want to make sure everybody understands our training staff and weight staff do an unbelievable job of keeping me abreast of everything going on at practice. We have monitors, heart monitors. We know their complete output. We cut back practice if we think it's getting too hard or guys have spent too much. I talked about our practices this camp have been 3 on and 1 off, which is all an attempt to try to keep them healthy and fresh. So I know a lot got made out of that. I can assure you between Mark and the weight staff and I, we're doing absolutely everything to keep these guys healthy, and that's our #1 priority. Excited to announce captains. We announced it at Boneyard Bash last night. We had the vote about a week and a half ago, and there was a lot of guys that got votes, which is a good thing. I think that means we have a lot of leaders on the football team, but the 4 top vote getters were Garrett and Travis and Caleb and Nick. I'm from all 4 guys have graduated from the university already, including Nick. Graduated in 3 years. I'd say 2.5 of them are homegrown Nebraska kids, obviously Garrett and Nick, but Travis's family is from Lincoln too, and then Caleb from Georgia. They're going to do a great job representing us, and the leadership that they've shown in camp, along with about a dozen other guys, has been the best we've had. So we got big things ahead of us. I think our guys are really excited, and we'll be getting on a plane in about 24 hours. Question?
Scott, what's the first 24 hours in particular like on this trip? Like adjusting guys, kind of body clock to the time switch and all that?
We've had more conversations than I can remember about this and the right way to do it. And I don't think if you've traveled to Europe, I don't think there's a perfect way to do it. You're not going to feel perfect when you get over there. Some of the conversations with our NAPL lab here and the expertise there has been really valuable for us too. So I want to give them a shout out. Flying overnight, I think the priority is making sure guys try to get to sleep on the plane. So we're going to try to get as much as we can, and then land and see how long everything takes. We're taking them through customs and going straight to the stadium to get a little workout and try to knock some rust off. Then headed to the hotel, give them a little downtime. And then we have dinner and a little cultural thing, and we're going to try to get them back to sleep. Up on Wednesday, they've had a really good night's sleep on Tuesday night, and they're ready to kind of pick up where we left off here.
What do you know about just the stadium, the facility, and how challenging was it maybe to get all the things you need for the week?
Well, we hope we remembered everything. If we were playing and thinking about this for a long time, I don't think we're going to get caught without a mouthpiece or anything like that, but you just never know what's going to happen. I think Jay was telling me some of our crates for equipment went over there, and all but 2 of them had a metal bottom, which was fine, and 2 of them had a wooden bottom on the bottom of the pallet, and they couldn't ship out of Chicago, so we had to address that. And it's little things like that you can't anticipate. I think everything we could have thought of, we've thought of, and again, our goal is to make sure the players don't have to.
I've talked a lot about, you and Whipple both have talked a lot about Casey's experience manifests itself in camp, and why is that so important to you? I mean, what are some reasons?
I'd say the biggest thing I would point to with experience is just lack of mistakes. Anytime you're a new player, there's more mistakes than somebody who's had experience, and a lot of quarterbacks played well in camp. I'd say Casey had the fewest turnovers, fewest buzz, fewest mistakes. I think experience is going to be even more important when you're going overseas to play in another another country, a different environment. You know, this is the thing, and he's played a lot of college football, so I think the environment will be natural to him.
Is the fact that he's 20, he's going to turn 24 in October, is that just alone meaningful to you?
Sure. I was smarter at 24 than I was at 18, and then I probably took a pause while I was in the NFL and didn't get life. And we have a more mature team than we've had. Some of it's age, and some of it's just the character of the kids and the competitiveness of the kids. And we definitely have the most guys on the team that I trust this year that we've had.
Scott, how would you characterize the separation between Casey and the rest of the guys in terms of being in your starting?
He is as big as just the experience gap. Casey's played a lot of football, and he's plenty talented to do everything that we need a quarterback to do in the run game and the pass game. I think that's going to be important for us early on here in the season.
Do you feel like you have separation at running back between a couple guys, or where do you kind of see that fitting going into this game?
It'd be a good question. Separation, I don't know. I think most of those guys are a little different. They have a little bit different skill set, but I've seen so much improvement out of the guys that have been here, and they've been pushed by the new guys. And I've said this before, I think this is the most talented and deepest group that we've had. So we just need to play.
Down below, and if he's down below, who's going to be your guy up top? How is that going to work for you?
Yeah, we've been training for that for a while. Every time we get a chance, we put people up, and Whip likes to call a game from the sideline, so it's good. I think it's going to help if I'm not staring at a play sheet. I can and try to be a help to him, but we're going to try to have guys up that can give us as much information as we need to get in the right play and make adjustments.
Scott, having your players elect 3 defensive guys as captains this year, and as many have done to get those guys.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that the culture on the defense has been growing for a while, and not a lot of change over there has helped us. The kids we recruited have really developed into the type of guy you want on your football. I didn't want to just necessarily say there was 2 offensive guys and 2 defensive guys. We wanted to pick the 4 best leaders. There were several other offensive guys that got votes, several other defensive guys that got votes, but these 4 got the most, and I think good leadership for us.
Scott, what can you kind of take away from last year's game against Northwestern? Is there stuff you carry over, or do you kind of wipe the slate clean?
Yeah, they're a lot better team than that score indicated. I don't know if we were as good as that score indicated. It was just one hungry against us, but I know how hungry our team is. There's been some things written about our team that I think have provided us a little extra motivation and could help us. So it's going to be 2 teams that are hungry over there. We on those things, and I'm expecting a really good game.
Scott, earlier in Indianapolis, when we talked about blending all the guys together, the new guys and transfers, or whatever, are you satisfied and happy are you that this team is one team now?
I couldn't be happier with that piece, the meshing of I think the first test in this day and age, with the ability to add transfers to your team, I think it makes guys like Garrett Nelson, Nick Henrich, Caleb, I could go on and on. Makes those guys even more valuable. Go the wrong way, I think you can lose your team. The leadership on the team and the culture that already existed in the locker room, I think, was easy for the new guys coming in, and I compliment them. They did a great job coming in and being a part of a team, not an individual. So I'm really happy with where that's.
You know, some of your better players who are just 2 and 3 years into the program.
Yeah, Trent Hickson's really been the kind of lead guy, and that's kind of natural with the center making a lot of the calls. Brock Bando does a good job, but we got some young leaders and not leaving anybody out. Turner does a great job, and several others. So that's a really tight unit right now. And like I said, their work ethic's been unbelievable, and I've seen a lot of improvement out of that group. I think they got a lot of pride and a lot of grit right now there, and so.
Did you give some of those out?
No, we haven't yet, and that was just kind of semantics and operational issues. We had to pack jerseys, so we didn't want them sweating in them, and the more to do with going overseas than anything else. But we'll make that announcement this week.
Scott, going back to the transfers, did you see taking 15 guys out of the portal each year?
I think that's probably a high number, but we'll have of need, and I compliment those guys and the guys on the team, because there wasn't a them and us attitude. It was an us attitude. I think there was also some added competition at a couple positions because of people we brought in that not
in the last 8 months.
not much, except I think it's a confident group right now. And I'd point to some of the new guys for that. I think one of the best things about the changes that have been made is we've added a lot of really confident guys. I'd point to Trey Palmer, Marcus Washington, some of the lot, but maybe the overall attitude test.
How about where does Casey fit in that confidence discussion?
Right in the thick of it. Yeah.
But like, do you feel like there's a sense of being able to run the ball when you want to? I know you've talked a lot about that, just being able to hit big runs and things like that.
So you're not asking me to give a game plan, but you are.
How did you feel like your offense performed?
It was good. It's what you want in camp. I was able to stand back and watch more and watch the defense more. And there was days the defense got for sure the better of it. There were days the offense would have scored a lot of points, and that's what you want to see. If you have one side dominating all the time, I think we haven't improved in run blocking, and I think some of that is having backs that can make offensive line look good, which helps. But in this league, if you can't run the ball, you're making yourself one-dimensional. There's too many.
What's the challenge, I guess, in this game, Scott, where guys care about winning so much, but you don't want to kind of go over that line to be uptight? And did you learn anything from that experience last year in that opener?
Yeah, I would say, I've talked to the team about that, and this game matters as much as the week 0 game last year. I would, looking back on it, say we were a little too tight going into that game because everybody knew how much it mattered. We're going to go out there and let it rip, and I'm going to have more conversations with them about it. They've earned the right to be confident, I'm sure, but I don't want the guys to worry about anything.
What growth have you seen out of Caleb Panner, in particular, as a guy who worked his way to a captain status like he has?
Yeah, Caleb was one of the guys when he first got here, and this is a compliment. He was on a lot of lists for missing things, being late. I I've seen very few guys that have come as far as he's come, and it speaks more to where he is now than where he started. We have a lot of guys that have to figure some things out, and Caleb has become a perfect teammate and a good leader. And that's awesome to see. It's one of the things that makes coaching very, very rewarding, is see a young man turn into the man that Caleb is.
Couple more, Coach.
Coach, from a conference perspective, how good exposure is this to have two Big Ten teams playing in a foreign country?
Yeah, we're starting the season off, so I'm sure if I wasn't coaching, I would be dying. There'll be a lot of eyes on it. So we're excited that we can represent the conference. I'm really proud of the conference right now and some of the moves we've made, and compliment the leadership and some of the things we've done to get ahead and stay ahead, hopefully for a long time. And glad we can represent this on.
Scott, when going through fact finding in terms of what to do over there, in terms of how you can make it as normal of a game week as possible, is there a piece of advice that maybe you got that said, now that makes a lot of sense, and you maybe not have thought of?
No, and have the guys on mind on football 24/7. That's when you do get tight. So we're going to try to enjoy the people, the country, and when it's time to focus on what we need to focus on, I want the guys to be sharp and focused. I've met a lot of Irish people in my life, and they're awesome to be around. Haven't met all of them, obviously, there's a lot, but the ones I've met have been funny and friendly, and I said on the radio I think the people of Nebraska and from what I know, the people of Ireland, I think it's going to be a fun mix, and I'm excited for the fans going over there as well.
All good? Okay. We'll bring players in shortly. Start players with Casey Thompson. Caleb Tanner was outside. He's out there. We're planning on Casey.
When were you told that you were going to be starting this week, and what was your reaction to that?
My reaction was just very thankful, grateful for the opportunity. This week, just in the meetings and stuff, and being told how the practice reps were going. I've kind of known for a little bit, so it wasn't too much of a surprise, just based on how the practice has been going and the scrimmages, and just how the team and the offense has been responding. Just kind of like I said, the way the reps have been going in the practices. Chuba and I were splitting reps, but majority of the time it was always usually me being able to get the first crack at it. So fortunately, I feel like I did a good job during camp, and I was able to lock that spot up. So I'm very thankful, and my game experience from last year definitely helped. Being able to have played in 12 games, have 10 starts last year, that really helped. And then even as a backup at Texas, whenever I was a backup behind Sam Ehlinger and having to prepare like every week like I was a starter, and just, I don't know, the more game reps you have, the easier it is at practice. So, but I would say the biggest thing that the experience has helped is just my decision making at practice, my poise in the pocket, and being able to take care of the ball. I know for sure I had a low number of turnovers. I think in the spring ball I had 5 turnovers through 15 practices, and one of those were 5, and one of those was also a tip that got caught by the defense. And so, being able to throw, 4 or 5 interceptions over 18 practices where you're having hundreds of attempts is really good. I like to do that, like I said, in the season as well, but definitely poise in the pocket and just decision-making that my game experience has helped the most.
Casey, now that you've been here 8 months, are you able to step back at all and you're reaching a milestone here, ready to play your first game, and just assess what this experience overall has been like for you, what your feelings are just about this place, maybe compared to the expectations?
Today was bed at like 10 p.m. at night, 9 p.m. So I just been kind of, going through my routine, waking up, watching film, getting ready for practice. After practice, hot and cold tub, watch the tape, get ready for meetings. That kind of deal for like the last 30 days, I would say. I haven't really sat back to reflect, anything that's happened so far. Even being named the starter, I feel like that, I enjoyed it probably for a night because it happened on the off day that we had, so I was able to enjoy it for a night. But no, I haven't really reflected or sat back or anything. Hopefully, at the end of the season, whenever we're competing for a championship, I'll be able to sit back and reflect on that.
Casey, you haven't played a game here, but assess the skill talent that you feel like is around you, particularly in comparison to where you were, where there was a lot of elite skill.
Yeah, the biggest thing is Nebraska football, we have a lot more bodies out there. So we have more players, more depth. Receivers room, we have more receivers. And the same thing with the running backs. I really like the way the running back room and the receivers and tight ends are on offense. We have great leadership in each room. And I think the running backs, we have, guys that have really good game experience. And even the quarterback room here is, I think it's very, you have me, Logan, and Chuba, who all have game experience. And then you have Richard and Heinrich, who also are, very talented players, have big arms. So I would say every position is probably a little deeper. As far as the skill level and the talent, I would say Trey Palmer is probably the fastest receiver that I've thrown to. He's up there with like Xavier really well. Isaiah, we have a lot of guys. Brody Belt. I mean, we have a really deep receiver room, so I'm very thankful and happy about that position, and the running back as well. Good thing we have good coaches, because Coach Applewhite is going to have to pick, the rotation, how that's going to go. So I trust the coaches. We're going to rotate 6 or 7 receivers on offense, and we're going to rotate multiple running backs as well. So I'll be happy with whoever's in and strengths and weaknesses, and so we'll try to play to their strengths. But having Trey Palmer for sure to take the top off the defense helps, and then of course having Marcus and Oliver to be on the outside and Alante to run routes, I think is really special.
You were asked about Marcus not that long ago, but can you speak further to what he or anything?
Yeah, it's really impressive. Marcus, all of our receivers, but Marcus and Trey Palmer especially, they have really good football IQ. Marcus is a great route runner. He has very natural hands. He's very long. He's like 6'3", has long arms. Marcus is he does a good job of understanding leverage and just the art of route running. And I can tell that Marcus spent a lot of time around Coach Sark, because his level of football IQ is through the roof right now. And a lot of times, like I said, we have a lot of plays that we run that Marcus is used to that he ran last year at Texas, and so he understands the plays and the routes. And so you really don't have to go over a lot of things. He's a fast learner. He picks up on things quickly. Even today at practice, we just got off the practice field and we were in the weight room, and I was telling Marcus, he's doing a good job and he's seeing things well, and he said part of the reason is because of the knowledge that he learned over at Texas. So he's done a good job, and like I said, I don't know at this time who's going to be starting at receiver. They haven't announced that publicly or even to us, but I have complete confidence and trust in Marcus and any of the receivers that will be out there.
What do you know about Northwestern and their defense, how they play? What have you seen from them?
Northwestern is a 4 down front, also known as even. That's their main front. Number 99, I think, is their best defensive lineman. He's really good, has a really good motor. They have a couple of transfers, and they had one transfer from Stanford. They two number 16, but They have some good players in the back end, but they're predominantly 4 down front. They play cover 4, and they rotate a little bit. They mix up, and they'll go 1 high. They'll go zone and man. They bring pressure occasionally. There's certain situations they like to bring pressure. Still studying the red zone defense, and I'm still studying, certain situations and formations. But we have a pretty good idea in game plan so far. We used kind of this last week of training camp to prepare and put a good game plan together. So today's Sunday, and I feel very confident that we have a great game plan already going in to Ireland before we get on the flight. But I would say 99, their defensive lineman definitely stands out on film. And then number 11, I would say he probably has the best meter track guy, so he has good speed on the outside. So I think they have good talent, and it's a good defense, and I'm big excited to line up against them.
Casey, how do you help us walk the line between caring about this game and caring too much and getting uptight and having
I think the confidence comes from this, you don't rise to the level of the occasion. You fall back on your training. And like I said, today's Sunday, and we're 6 days out, and I have complete confidence in this game plan and the offense and the coaching staff, and just trying to keep everybody positive and relaxed. We had a really good practice today, almost no mistakes on the whole day. We had a practice yesterday where we went over like 90 to 100 plays, and we didn't have any repeats or mistakes. So I think that the guys have a lot of confidence right now, but me as the quarterback, I just try to keep them positive and encourage them after practice and telling the line, we had a good practice, and encouraging the guys when we have to do half gashers and sprints after practice that this is going to help us for the game and ultimately for the season. So we're just trying to take one game at a time. But when we get over there, I think the main thing is on game day, my confidence and poise and my body language, and just showing the rest of the team and the offense that, hey, we've been here before, we want to play the game. So I would say my poise and my body language would probably help the most on game day for sure.
You get nervous?
No, I haven't gotten nervous. Actually, the most relaxed I ever was for a game was against in Dallas, Texas last year, October 9th against OU. That was probably the most relaxed I was for a game, and it was a different experience. We talk about it a lot, but you basically go into like a meditation state before games. And we had a staff member named Aura. He runs the head of the media and graphics, and he was like, "Are you ready for the game? Are you excited?" And I was like, "I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it and talking about it." So no, I really don't get nervous. I would say last year they named me the starter at Texas against Rice. Week 3, and I remember getting on the bus from the hotel to the stadium, and that was the only time I got nervous ever since then. I haven't really been going against our defense. Some days, might be a little bit more nerve-wracking than getting ready for the game. But on Saturdays, I'll have complete confidence, and like I said, we're ready as a team and ready as an offense for sure.
Marcus said this to us as reporters, so I assume he said this to you. He feels like he and you both have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Something to prove. What is he talking about? What do you think?
Yeah. Marcus pointed out to me when he got here that he just noticed the chip on my shoulder that he's talking about, and also on his shoulder, is it just comes from being doubted and things not going in your favor in life. When your back is against the wall or things don't go in your favor, you have to just continue to fight back and stay resilient. And like I said, things here in Nebraska I was at before, so just the chip on the shoulder to prove myself right, and about my game and knowing the ability that I can play at. But I think what Marcus is talking about is at practice, and anything from walkthroughs, routes on air, 1-on-1, 7-on-7, team versus scouts, team versus the defense, scrimmages, it doesn't matter. I'm always trying to be perfect. I want to have perfect throws. I want 19 practice off from being perfect on the whole day. That's from start to finish in the practice. So I'm just continue to strive for perfection. I don't know if I'll ever get there in a practice or a game, but like I said, the chip on my shoulder is bigger now than it ever was. I'm just trying to be a winning quarterback and play at a high level for this team.
Do your skill players understand the standards that you have? Are they starting to understand how to get used to you?
Yeah, I mean, some days, like when we start practice and we go one-on-ones, routes on there, 7-on-7 during training camp, we had one day during training camp where we went 10 for 10 the first 10 passes. And I told the receivers, like, we just went 10 for 10 that period. And they're like, oh, really? I didn't even know that. And I was like, yeah, I've been trying to get that for weeks, So they understand the level that we want. And then after practice, we do this thing called one more that the coaches kind of encourage us to do, and basically do one more rep or one more drill or something, and the quarterbacks throw to the receivers, and we'll pick a different route. But today we did like a over route in the red zone, and we have to complete 14 or 15, pick a slant. Some days we pick a post route. So just trying to be perfect at practice so that way on game day, it'll become second nature. Thank you, guys.
Defensive side, Quinn Newsom. Going on.
How tricky are Huskers in plotting what you're going to do to counter that?
I would say that's really tricky. Just being prepared for anything they could possibly do, and just kind of, going based off what the coaches believe is going to happen in the game, and we just believe in that, and we stick to the script.
Hey, Quinn, what did you guys learn last year with another big game to start?
Ready to play football, ready to compete, ready to go out here and secure this win, and just attacking every game, and knowing that this first game is going to be the starting point for this season. So I feel like we just have to attack.
Quinn, how do you balance focusing on the game while also trying to actually enjoy the culture of a new country?
I would say that the whole team is excited about going out there, going overseas, but we all know
Secondary, how would you describe the competition and just the feeling you've had with that group back there?
I would say it's been a great camp, especially just with all the new guys. They're not new guys anymore. Just getting everybody meshed in together, and I would say it's been a great camp. We seen guys step up and really show us what they're capable of, and it's really good. I'm just excited to see them guys play.
What can you say about your team?
I can say that this whole team believes in them. They're great leaders for us, great captains, and they know the role that they've been given, and we believe in them 100%.
What kind of a relationship have you developed with Tommy? A lot of playing.
We've gotten together. We created a great relationship. He's like a little brother to me. He's been really coming along, and he's shown very good signs of what he could do and what he's capable of. Even outside of football, we play the game together and we go do different things. So I would say we've grown close.
Anything stand out to you in particular about Northwestern's offense?
I would say that, these guys, they're very good at the different things we're doing. So we just got to be prepared and locked in and stay on our keys.
You be able to sleep on the plane?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. It's a long flight. So, I think it's very important that everybody gets their rest heading over there. We trying to get back to sleep that we're losing. And so getting sleep. I would say that it's been a big emphasis because, we're going to a different country and, we just trying to be prepared for anything that happens. It's a big change. It's not something that people are used to doing, so that's something we really
Happy were you for Caleb, Georgia guy, and just Scott Frost was talking about just how much he's matured over his time in the program. What have you seen?
I've seen Caleb become a great leader, a great role model, and it's not that he just became more vocal. He also, shows us how to do this and how to do this. He goes full speed 100% of the time. He's just really helped this team out. He brings energy to the team, so I'm very happy for him.
Scott Frost, your head coach, said the other day that the edge position, those edge guys are maybe the strongest position on the team.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see from them throughout August?
I seen them guys be able to just do what they do best, and that's just coming off the edge, rushing, trying to get to the course. It's not just coming from one side, it's on both sides. So it's great to have as a guys are gonna do.
All right.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Rich Garandelsky to Travis Vokalek. Nick and Garrett will need to be a little quicker to get back to the meeting.
Real feeling. I was pretty speechless, but I mean, yeah, it was just a great honor. Anytime that your teammates think that highly of you, it's pretty special. So it's something I'll cherish definitely for the rest of my life, but we got a lot more work to do, so it's exciting.
What does it say to you that 3 of the 4 are defense?
I mean, it says we're doing a good job building the defensive culture. I think even there's a lot more guys that could have been named captain that weren't, obviously, because there's only 4, but guys like, Ty Robinson, Luke Reimer, Miles Farr, good job building a nice defensive culture.
That you've played with in the past who have been leaders, in what ways have they handed down that torch of leadership to you and Garrett and Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, I think Luke and I especially, we were really lucky to, when we came in, there were some really nice, really good senior linebackers that kind of showed us how to just be a college football player and how to do the right things on and off the field. So, I mean, when Will left especially, that was kind of like the last, old guy in the room leaving. It was kind of like the torch was passing. So, I mean, those guys all taught us so much, and I'm super grateful for all of them. But, yeah.
What's a captain's role in setting the tone for a first game like this when the stakes are so high?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to kind of keep doing what you're doing. Your teammates voted you as a captain for a reason, so you just got to keep being yourself. And, obviously, I don't know, nothing really changes. You just got to, the stakes are high. We got to keep working. We all know that, so we just got to keep holding everyone accountable like we've been doing.
Do you get the sense among the guys that they know that the trip is more than, just going to a foreign country, but at the end of the day, it's about football?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we've really emphasized that this is a bit another culture, like we're going to, and go to a different country, because a lot of guys have never been able to do that. But we all know the only thing we're going there to do is win a football game.
How much will Northwestern kind of test the physicality? I mean, Porter's 235-pound back, and they got Hull as well. I mean, what do you expect to see from those backs in this game?
Yeah, I mean, they have good backs. They're always a well-coached team, so expecting a lot of things out of them, but we're going to be ready to go, and we know they're going to bring their best, so we have to bring our best.
This team learned some things from, I know you guys don't like to look back a lot, but Coach Frost said you're uptight maybe last year in week 0. Do you think some guys are back, took some things from the experience going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just all ready to go as a team, you know what I mean? Last year was a really hard year for a lot of people, but we definitely taken and learned a lot of lessons from it, and we're going to take those over to Ireland.
This was also complimentary of Caleb Tanner and how far he's come from when he arrived till now. How much growth have you seen from him on the field and personally?
Yeah, I mean, Caleb I don't think I've seen more growth out of a single person. He's done such a good job this year of holding guys accountable. And, I mean, we love to see that.
In what ways specifically have you seen that growth? At least
Yeah.
you can share.
Yeah, I mean, he came in and he was never like a huge problem guy, but it seemed like, I don't know, he just wasn't really a leader, you know what I mean? But he's really, really developed well into that, and really, he took off from a leadership standpoint really this last year. So, yeah, it's been really cool to see.
What's he bring as a player?
He's a dog, man. Yeah, I mean, he's got that insane competitive drive and spirit that is contagious to a defense and a team. So we really can feed off of his energy.
Nick, what have you seen from the new look offense after
doing a really good job? It's nice to be able to experience some new looks. They show us a lot of stuff. Running backs have been running really hard, and I've been really impressed from that side of the ball for sure.
Nick, what do you expect out of yourself as your goals?
Yeah, I mean, my goals are just really to help us win games however we can, and being a leader was really kind of develop do that throughout the season.
How did you do it? Like, how did you develop?
I mean, Unity Council helped a lot, just kind of working with the guys, and I mean, trusting myself, honestly.
Anything else from Nick? All right, appreciate
Thank
it. Questions?
What did the captain honor mean to you?
I'll bring up Austin. One of my best buddies, he was a captain last year. Talked with him last night. He really made sure to make it known how big it is to be a captain on the Nebraska football team. So I've soaked it in. I think it's a great honor to be a captain, and I'm really ready to attack it.
Any more big that you're the only offensive captain?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. We've had a lot of new offensive guys come in that have brought in a lot of confidence and energy. A lot of defensive guys that have been here longer. So I think that's really the reason why there's 3 defensive captains and only one offensive captain. Is just we've had guys who have been here longer. And we've had a lot of new guys that came in on the offensive side that bring a lot of confidence and energy to the offensive side of the football.
What did Austin tell you about being a captain? What it means? What those responsibilities?
Yeah, just how big of a deal it is. He just I've looked up to him. One of my best buddies just said be the best leader you can be vocal, confront people.
Travis, you use last year's opener as motivation at all?
You know what? Last year's last year. Guys know what we need to get done this year. Obviously, we've thought about it a little bit, but we know how important this first game is, and how important it is to start on the right track. And this first game is just huge. We want to go 1-0 in this first week.
How much will
Yeah. Given opportunities for our playmakers to go out and make plays. I've said it over and over. We got receivers, who are crazy, athletic, and can be put in spots to make plays. We got our running back room, best running back room we've had in a while. So we got our tight end room. We got a bunch of playmakers, and Casey's going to do a great job of throwing the ball up and letting our playmakers go make plays.
Now that Casey's been named the starter, what have you seen from him maybe in the last, I don't know, since training camp began, or maybe even in the summer, that it's impressed you, and how have you guys kind of gotten used to him? Because
I'm glad he's on our football team. He's grown a lot since when he first got here. He's a quarterback who's vocal, and he knows the offense in and out. So knows everything about the offense. If you got a question about it, he's always up here watching film. He's one of the hardest workers I know. When it comes to watching film and taking care of his body and all that stuff.
be a shift in him when he finally knew his thumb was healthy, and it wasn't that he was getting bothered by that. He was able to just throw the ball like.
No, not really. Casey's Casey. He's our quarterback, and I'm just super happy he's on our football team.
Travis, as an older guy, how do you make sure some of the younger guys aren't getting too uptight getting into such a game with big importance?
Yeah, this game is huge. It's different for us. We're going across the pond. Which a lot of guys out of the country, so it would be a fit football team. We know what needs to be done. We're gonna have some fun over there too. So we're gonna try and not be uptight all the time, but we're gonna have some fun and just stay relaxed. And it's football. We're going out there. We all know how important this game is, and we're ready to attack it.
It sounds like Portraiture and Chance had good camps. How do you feel about just the whole position?
Yeah, I love my position group. We are so tight, and it's funny, tight. We're close bonded. I got great relationships with all those guys, and I'm super happy with the guys in our room.
Did you know? Portraiture is a walk-on, but he always gets mentioned by Becton.
Mm-hmm.
He could play right away. Could you spot that? Or
yeah, Nate's a goofball. One of my best buddies. He's really grown up since when he first got here. He's gotten stronger. Football IQ is off the charts, and he's a yes.
We'll have Garrett Nelson here.
What's up, everybody?
Your coach said that the edge position might be the strongest on the team. What did that look like in August? Was it that good?
Just kind of, it's a longer answer. Kind of going back to when I was earlier in my career, freshman, sophomore, that was probably the weakest position. So having that comment come out really says a lot about our guys and our coach in that room of how much we cared about turning that position around and making it into the strongest position on the field. It says a lot about two guys that makes me be a part of that change that happened in that position.
Garrett, what were your emotions on learning that news about the captain?
It was pretty surreal, especially doing it with Nick. Nick's been there for me, and I like to say we've been there for each other for, since before college. So he's been my roommate every year. We haven't moved apart from each other. We've kind of been each other side by side the whole step of the way. And so when both of us got named, there was a tear, but it's an honor. I mean, it's pretty easy when you have a great group of guys. So it's, but it says a lot that, out of those great group of guys, they want you to lead them into games and into adversity and be the voice of the team.
How much of that for you is realizing a dream or a vision that goes back?
That interested me. My biggest interest was just being the best teammate that I could be. Captain or no captain, we have, we got 4 guys named, but we have 20 other dudes that are leaders on this team that can do a phenomenal job in every position, offensive and defensive. It's awesome, and I'm honored. And I can't believe that I got named, but along the best friend recognized for that, and I'm more than happy, and it's unbelievable.
Garrett and Nick talked about the growth and development of Caleb as a leader. What have you seen from him in his years here in Nebraska growing to a leader?
Yeah, starting it off, he was kind of a hot mess. Kind of a problem guy. He's always on the accountability list. He was always, late or doing something wrong, or a lot of outsiding stuff going on. And the past couple of years, he's really focused, and it says a lot for him coming back. But he's really focused on being the best player he can be, being the best teammate he can be, talking to dudes, mentoring dudes, being the voice of not, when I'm not saying something, he's on the side saying something. He's grown and completely turned a new leaf. And I've even talked about it with my parents, because my parents ask about it. I tell them about the progress, and they're amazed, and I am too. Everybody is. He's done a great job, and I love him as a teammate. And he's kind of been my partner in crime. When like cop shows have a partner and they go in the car together all the time, that's kind of, I'd look over to the side of the field, and he's always been there. So seeing my partner in crime on the field kind of develop into that guy.
Was it great?
I'd probably say when Coach Dawson came in, he'll tell you how it is, and Caleb needed to hear some things that he was told, and I definitely needed to hear some things that I was told, and along with anybody in that room. But he works at it pretty much every day, and he's awesome. I couldn't be more proud of him.
Hey, Garrett, you'll be tested against one of the best left tackles in college football, Skoronski. What kind of test is that going to be?
League. I've always been talking about how much I've improved my pass rush, and like you said, this is probably the great test right out the gate. So that's definitely, but it's been on my mind for a while, if you want to be honest. I'm really excited because obviously, like I said, that's why you're in this league, to rush against those best guys. But I'm really excited for the opportunity. And
you study him a lot?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he great player. Really excited to go against him.
What is the addition of O'Shawn Mathis done to raise the standard?
He's come in and added another element to our defense. We can do so many things with, like you said, those edge guys on our team that not as, I wouldn't say as common, but when you have 3 or 4 guys that know the defense and can put, you can just, they're X's, you can move them anywhere. It's pretty sweet to see what the genius Coach Chins can do. But he's done a great job learning the defense, and he came in and but after that curve, he's done phenomenal learning and asking questions and being part of the defensive line.
Dawson said that there was that little bit of a learning curve, but then he kind of got it really fast. Mm-hmm. What did he do to show you guys that he had figured it out?
Just you'd watch film every day with practice, and it's, like, oh man, you got to be in there, or you got to set the edge, or this, you're rushing instead of dropping, or stuff like that. And then also one day it's just clicked, and he strung together a lot of good practices with very minimal MAs, and has developed his pass rush game, has improved in his pass rush game. He's always a strong athlete, really long, just kind of fitting into our defense as a piece.
You mentioned that you guys, you and Caleb, among others, have done a lot to help him get acclimated. Have you guys learned anything from him about being a great pass rusher or preparation or anything like that?
No, it's just kind of cool to watch him do his stuff. I mean, it's nice to have competition in the room when, kind of seeing what he does and how he goes against our tackles or how he pass rushes. Coach, like a collaborative group of guys of just figuring out how we can be the best pass rushers.
Garrett, is there any one thing you're looking forward to specifically doing in Dublin or just in Ireland?
Winning the game.
Hey, you faced him in camp, so what do you think of your team's quarterback depth? Not just Casey, but Logan and Chuba and the wide variety of skill sets they have.
Yeah, those guys can sling it, man. All of them. They're all ball players, which is awesome. Obviously, they have different assets, just like with any player, and throw the ball really well. It will be, it's pretty sweet. That room, I mean, just with any room, and that's what I'm kind of saying about the whole team. With any room, we have a lot of depth with a lot of positions that a lot of guys can play. So that's exciting. With the pieces that we can put together, the offense and defense, it's
Compared to your own development curve, where are Jamari Butler and Blaise Carson?
taking a big step. They're taking a big step, and that's another part about about being a captain or a leader or whatever. I did my own. Younger guys, whenever I got to this spot or whatever, feel the way that I did when I came in, just kind of thrown out to the wolves and figure it out. So I'm trying my hardest, try my best to help those guys, teach those guys, this is how you watch film, this is how you do this is how you practice. Not like saying they needed a complete overhaul, but just things that I wish I would have heard and telling them and letting them know. So they've developed really well, and I'm excited to watch them play.
What are some of those things you wish you would have heard that you say to them now?
Offense, watch film, how to break down different offenses, how to be a good college football player. So had to figure that out. Mostly on by myself, but like I said, with Coach Dawson coming in, so it's kind of accelerated that, and I finally had somebody to tell me what I needed to hear.
A lot of talk from a player perspective. How much do the logistics of this week, just all the things that are different about playing overseas, also starting classes tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's a factor. How much is that all? Is it on your mind today?
Control the controllables. This team. We're on a plane ride you can focus on the giant plane ride and the weird conditions, and Ireland rains all the time, but then people speak differently and it's weird. Or you can just focus on being with each other and controlling our walkthroughs, our practices, our mindset of going in this game. You kind of have to be more than, we're always focused on game week, but you as players and as league focus on what they need to focus on instead of looking at all this. We're going to a different country, we're on a plane, we're going overseas, we're going to be doing weird stuff over there, and there's like liver and things. But just kind of reining everybody in, keeping that focus of what are you looking forward to? I'm looking forward to winning the game.
We talked a lot about Caleb's development as a leader, but what does he bring to the plate on the field these days?
If you're on Twitter, you can see him just laying out solid. But he's probably the fastest, if not one of the fastest guys on the team. when you have that off the edge, that's pretty dangerous. He can run down ball carriers. He can throw tackles on the ground in a power move. He can spin and run just about anywhere. And with the motor that he has, it's pretty awesome to watch. He brings a lot on the field, and teams definitely look out for that with game plans and stuff. They're like, yeah, this number 2 character is a special athlete off the edge. So, and that's kind of dangerous when you have, him, then me, then O'Shawn, and then Blaze and Jamari. That's pretty solid. Watch out for number 2.
Mentioned how last year against Illinois, week 0, you guys just came out way too tight. How do you as a captain keep your guys locked in and intense, but also not too nervous and not too tight?
Yeah, that's kind of a fine line. You don't want to be messed around, unfocused, but you also, don't want to hold on to the stick too tight and crash into the mountain. We've kind of fallen into that because obviously we know the stakes and we know what's riding on it. We know the pressure, and that's all great. That elevates your play and your focus. Looking at things to not hit, you usually end up hitting them instead of looking for the path to success. So as a leader, I just want guys to know, yeah, there's a lot of stakes and there's a lot of pressure, but we've done the training, we've done the work. We enjoy playing with each other. We just got to go do that when it, a different colors on the field. We, like I said, with the controllables, we can't control what they're going to do or what happens or this or that. We can control how we play and how we focus. So just displaying that to the team, displaying that to each other, and locked in and dialed into how important this is. But at the end of the day, we're playing football and hitting dudes and creating interceptions and sacking people. So that's pretty fun. You got to laugh and enjoy that.
All right. Thank you, Garrett.